Welcome to this series about capacity and capability building to craft and shape operations enabling adoption and adaption. As we go through this journey, we take a more in-depth look at selected aspects with a focus on business issues around technological transformation. With these being more in-depth on heavier materials, please feel free to review the takeout points if in a rush, but also take your time to go through, pause, and get the real benefits. We hope the skills and expertise shared is of value to you and those you support in this changing world. Please subscribe, add your comments, and share with others. We close out the series with a look at how to make the transition around knowledge worker services automation and artificial intelligence using a risk-based approach to emergent behaviours. Like any other business change, the transformation around artificial intelligence comes through the application of proven pragmatic practices, consistency, and persistently applied. Implementation of AI is a business need, owned by the business, driven by the business, for the business, and needs to be aligned to overall business strategy. AI transformation is the risk-based approach to keeping business operating while transitioning based on emergent behaviours. Leadership enables the ownership from the business for the business to make the transition. Thank you. Glad you decided to stay. In this series, we have looked at the impacts of automation and artificial intelligence on knowledge workers, addressed some of the opportunities for automation, as well as the need for strategy, risk management, and emergent behaviors. The role of AI in selective knowledge worker industries was also considered. We round out this series with a look at some pragmatics and practicalities in the implementation of automated knowledge worker services and AI. Again, the focus is the risk-based approach to emergent behavior. Additional details around implementing change are in the links below. Here, we use the proven pragmatics of business to show the emergent behaviors approach from a risk-based approach to making the transformation around AI and automated knowledge worker services. While the details will vary with industry, type of organization, size, and factors like the level of regulatory, there are common aspects which are considered. Like other transformations, there are some aspects to set up for success on a risk-based approach for an emergent behavior from strategy, an overarching strategy to guide and shape the transformation is required. Tactical activities are aligned to the overall strategy, which provides the direction while enabling empowerment and staged delivery. Any strategy has to be backed by leadership who needs to provide the overall capacities and capabilities for implementation. Leadership Related to the strategy is the leadership who are prepared to make the decisions and stay the course, with a willingness to address issues which other changes are often reluctant to address. The leadership needs to have the overall vision to enable incremental solutions to be delivered against the strategy. Management. Supporting the overall leadership is the management, which is listening to customers as well as providing opportunities for customers. The management is supported to innovate and manage risk and support these. Management of the time between operations and transformation is also required. Supporting. The existence of a supporting function to enable the transition to automated knowledge worker services and AI. Support includes a trusted advisory function for help and support. The focus is on the AI transformation and may include change management and or project management expertise, which is often needed and integrated with the transformation. Provision of common tools with implementation support. This is for the management of the transformation, though it may include the AI and automated technologies in collaboration with ICT. Assistance with guidelines, standards, policies, procedures, and governance for operations and transition around the AI. Management need to be provided with and need to enable the tools, services, operational, and have trusted advisory function to help manage the transition. These are just some of the proven pragmatic practices which apply to other business transformations that are part of setting up for success. On a risk-based approach, through an emergent behavior, further proven pragmatics for transformation include people, the management of people for and through the transformation, with changes to the hiring processes for the emerging skills and expertise, as well as the ongoing skilling, the ability to do, and training, the how to do. Technology, the transformation of the technology and the related operations and services with a focus on integrated technology solutions, assurance of information with related operations and services. One of the major changes is in vendor dependency and how the changes in services are managed with vendors. Data. Related to the technology is the management and assurance of the data for automated processing tied to process, metadata, and assurance. This includes the need for auditable benchmark testing, handling of errors and exceptions while assuring services. Transition. Managing the transition, having a responsible owner with the required delivery manager, the project manager, and related subject matter expert aligned. The incremental implementation of AI solutions aligned to overall strategy, as well as creating the required empowered emotional ownership to transform operations to common standards, tools, policy on a risk-based approach. Engagement. Having the required engagement to bring people on the journey, including the consistent engagement of customers, vendors, stakeholders, and staff. The persistent engagement of what is happening, why, what it means for them, what they need to do, and where to get help and support, providing incremental returns seem to take on the journey. Operational. Addressing the required operations, including processes working end-to-end, the use of business-specific, role-based scenarios for operations and service management, and the required assurance and outcomes controls. Again, these are just some of the considerations to address and are all proven pragmatic practices which have the track record of success in transformation delivery. The risk-based approach from emergent behavior carries into the related areas of legal. The many legal aspects around changes to agreements, moving contracts to an outcomes-based delivery, the changes to product and services, and supporting the advisory response. Risk. The management of risk related to the transformation and from the automated knowledge worker services and AI. This includes the implementation risk management from the transformation, the impact risk management of the changes, and the integration into business risk management and operational risk, strategic risk, and systemic risk. Regulatory. Varying with industry, changes to reporting, controls, and processes are needed, as well as in response to regulatory changes around the automation. Finance. From budgets and funding for the transformation to the realization of stranded costs. Changes come from the automation of knowledge worker services to be addressed. One of the more obvious is the cost recovery change against the business. Vendors. Managing vendors to revised outcomes, moving to emergent behaviours management, and changes in risk around vendor dependency are just part of vendor management. Audit. Changes in what is audited, how it is audited, and auditing of vendors are examples of the changes required. This is just a selection of some of the changes needed for the automation of knowledge worker services and the use of AI. These areas of business make changes to support the adoption and adaption of AI in response to other business areas, as well as using other areas to support changes within one of these areas. In this series, we have looked at the impacts of automation and of artificial intelligence on knowledge workers. Some of the opportunities for automation have been addressed, as well as the need for strategy, risk management, and emergent behaviors. The emergent behaviors for the transformation, for ongoing operations and services, as well as having emergent behaviors embedded within the AI and other business considerations have been emphasized. The role of AI in selected knowledge worker industries has been illustrated. In this last video, we have looked at some of the proven practical business pragmatics to be consistently and persistently applied for the automation and use of artificial intelligence on knowledge workers. Thank you for your time. May the skills and expertise shared be of value to you and those you support in this changing world. Please subscribe, add your comments, and share with others.